I come to this interview not having really any kind of degree or anything. I'm just coming because I love the regular things of life that I think Middle America likes. Home, family, freedom, and I just want to encourage other women. It's okay to pursue those things. It's a good thing to pursue those things. I was raised in Lancaster, Pennsylvania on a farm. I was the oldest of 4 children. Boys helped a lot on the farm with my dad. Us girls helped my mom with canning and cleaning and all that kind of stuff. My dad and his brothers and brothers-in-law would go every fall deer hunting. And the big deal for us kids was when the day we knew he was coming home, when we'd get off the bus, would we see a deer hanging out in the tree in front of the house or not? I had really wonderful parents, wonderful siblings, and we had a great sense of humor in our home. We enjoyed being with one another, and that's the same thing I want to do in our home.
Cindy Gregory was raised on the core values that raised our country: faith, family, and freedom. Growing up in a home filled with warmth and laughter, Cindy knew she wanted her own family to share those same values. Her strong faith and relationship with God has been the bedrock for the way she lives her life and raises a family. And so together, with her husband Joe, the Gregory home was built on love, kindness, and most of all, respect. But for Cindy, it all began when she met Joe, her true partner for the road ahead.
I was older when I met Joe. And so we had a nice evening, a nice dinner, and Joe and I hit it off immediately as far as real easy conversation together.
Yeah.
And do you want to add
So
more?
much so that I asked you out the next night and she shot me down. But I understand that, the best things in life you have to pursue a little bit. So I knew to pursue something as good as Cindy. So I appreciate all of your friends that convinced you that I was such a great person.
You really are such a great person. Got married in 11 months from meeting, and it's been an amazing life ever since.
21 years.
Mm-hmm. Well, I love having boys because there's a special relationship with a mom and her boys. Jonathan was born in 1994. I remember when he was first born, they laid him on my stomach and I said, "Hi, Jonathan," and he turned his head and looked right up at me, eye to eye. That was really precious. Jonathan is becoming a humanities man. We did not see this when he was in high school. As soon as he graduated, almost immediately, this love of books just sprung out of him.
Sometimes I would just stick my camera in front of people's faces, but the one video I really did, I got all of my mom's side of the family together and asked them several questions about my grandparents and essentially like what they loved about them, what they thought was special about them, and compiled it all together. And we watched it the day after Christmas with my grandparents, and they were very touched by that.
We got married late in life and we were able to have one child easily, but not after that. So we signed up with an adoption agency and waited 2.5 years, really had no interaction with them at all and had no idea if our file was being shown to anybody or not. And then on September 11th at 10 o'clock in the morning, we got the phone call that Josh had been born.
As the buildings were falling in
we were both
New York
watching the
City,
TV.
Like so many Americans watching that and just realizing, that the world was going to change after that. It was the worst of times, but also the best of times for us.
Yeah, while that was happening, we had our biggest answer to prayer at that time occur at the same moment. And as soon as they brought him into the room where the 3 of us were sitting, my heart just was filled with so much love for him. I was so in love with that baby. It has never left.
Oh yeah, I remember first holding them. Mom was freaking out that I wanted to hold him. She thought I was gonna drop him or break him. But alas, he's still alive. Not too damaged.
Joshua is strong left brain. When he was 5 years old, wasn't even in kindergarten yet. When we would drive in the car, he'd say, "Ask me hard questions." So we'd say, "What's 5 plus 8?" It grew to what's 315 plus 214 minus 23, and he would calculate it in his head. It was unbelievable. He is now in math Olympic competitions. Our parents put on this Thanksgiving weekend at their cabin every year, and the whole family goes for Thanksgiving weekend. And on Thanksgiving Day, before we eat, we go around the table and everybody says something they're thankful for. And when it came to Josh, he said, "I'm so glad I've been adopted so that you are my family and that I could come and spend these weekends with you."
It was kind of a aw moment. They're a really good family to be in.
And everybody clapped. They were overwhelmed by what a 12-year-old came up with. So that was really precious.
Cindy and Joe grew up in families filled with strong bonds of love and laughter. Their greatest joy has been to pass those experiences and values to their own boys.
And tried to show them the dangers for yourself if you're not an honest person, how long it takes people to trust in you, and how many ways that would impact you negatively if you're known as a liar.
Importance of a work ethic and generosity, kindness, a lot of the things that you are.
Oh, sweet.
She's very caring. She loves to know what's going on in a good way. Very strong Christian woman.
I try and be like her. Loving, caring, compassionate, giving.
I think that kids brought up in a good, solid Christian home have a higher tendency to have healthy families themselves, have healthy businesses, and conduct themselves in an honest, truthful manner, and would lend itself to a better country if all families followed that. I think we'd have a better country.
It, sometimes brings you to tears to see your kids walking in faith and establishing their own track record of faith.
I feel that God is the creator, just like the Bible describes. I think that everything the Bible says is the truth, and I want their lives to thrive like mine has thrived with him.
It keeps me grounded, you always have to kind of focus on what's morally true or not.
It's really important. I try and be like Jesus and try and be like my parents.
Essentially when you get down to it, it's a love for your fellow man, to want the same freedoms for them that you enjoy, or you want that for others like you would want it for yourself. So my sense of it is that the NRA believes that as well. We'll go out to Montana and go skiing out there, get out on the lake some, go boating together, and swim together. And
we can just go four-wheeling around and be outdoors, or we can just go out and go shooting. I mean, there's so many things just to do right there.
I'm thinking about taking them for spring turkey season this year.
The property is gorgeous, and the area where we have the clays set up is very nice. It's a nice situation, and you're way far away from everyone, so it's just a fun place to go and shoot.
It's a release. It's fun. I mean, it's fun to just stand out there and see it flying by, and as soon as you fire, see the clay bird explode into a million pieces.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty fun shooting the targets. Feels like you've made an accomplishment.
I'm very much a novice, very much a novice. I can still shoot. I guess it remains to be seen whether I'll look fabulous while I'm shooting or not. I definitely need practice, but it's a lot of fun.
Well, I think it certainly teaches them an appreciation for wildlife, for the outdoors, teaches respect for firearms and our firearm freedom.
I do think it's very important for the guys to learn how to protect themselves and be very comfortable with a gun.
Charter members of the NRA Golden Ring of Freedom, Cindy and Joe are leading examples of advocacy, donating an abundance of time and resources. Beyond their support of the Second Amendment, the Gregory family sees the NRA as an organization that echoes their own family's core American values.
He got involved in the 1990s, and it grew fast as he became friends with the leadership of the NRA. And I have always known of Wayne LaPierre and the NRA, and I've always admired what they stood for. And so it was very easy to get to know them and be a part of the organization, and then got more involved with Susan LaPierre. And so we've gotten to meet with them and be with them on a handful of occasions and had a precious relationship. There's a peace about that, knowing that they're there. If things aren't going right in our nation, there was a voice out there that was going to stand up and not be afraid to say, wait a minute, something's not right about this.
The NRA does that and recognizes that and understands that. Just like they're doing that with women, they're doing that with kids as well, through the Eddie Eagle program and through several other programs.
I didn't even realize how much they were doing behind the scenes. They're fighting for us.
And you really understand the connection between our Bill of Rights and our individual freedoms and how important they are to all Americans and how important they are really to the whole world.
Cindy and Joe's unwavering support of the NRA has earned them both custom-made gold jackets upon their induction into the Golden Ring of Freedom. The jacket is given to those who have given gifts to the NRA of $1 million or more. But Cindy and Joe's contribution didn't stop there. Together, the Gregory's leadership has inspired many others to make significant donations to various NRA programs.
Oh, it's really awesome. It symbolizes standing behind an awesome organization who is the buffer between us and those who may not recognize that we love the Constitution, we love the Second Amendment, and we want to continue to stand up for those rights.
Behind any success I could claim would be the wisdom and talent of my wife, who's just such a great counselor to me and such a great inspiration to me, and someone who takes care of so many things that I could never take care of. And so we're a team, and that's important, and you do such a great job of that.
Thank you.
So I think that deserves a kiss.
Armed and fabulous.
Armed and fabulous.
Cindy believes passionately in the NRA, particularly its representation of strong women. The NRA Women's Leadership Forum has grown to exceed all expectations for philanthropic giving. This group of dedicated women continues to raise awareness and support exponentially each year. Recently, Cindy was honored with the organization's esteemed brooch, indicating that she had given or gathered $25,000 or more for any program in the NRA.
That was such a surprise. It is so beautiful, so beautiful. I was just shocked. It was a great honor to receive that. Because I'm not a shooter and a person who competes, I just felt especially honored that a group like that would want to recognize me. I have to say that the first time I went to the ladies' luncheon at the convention, I thought I was going to a luncheon with a bunch of women who were the wives of men who are big hunters. And I was very wrong. I have to laugh about it. I was with women who were competitively shooting, but it was pretty amazing to see how many women are out there, avid hunters and shooters, and they tell you their stories there at the luncheons. And it's overwhelming to me. I'm mostly passionate about women. I feel led to help women in any way I can. So all those things that we've talked about of allowing people to thrive, if I sense that there's an area in their life where they're stuck, then I want to allow truth to come into their life to get them unstuck so that they can thrive. That is a huge passion of mine. It's almost emotional to see that the things that you talk about in your living room, they've all been talking about in their living rooms, and they feel exactly the same way. We've loved our country. We're behind the Constitution, and you realize there's a lot more people who believe like you do than when you're home by yourself. Let's all work together and allow the nation to thrive instead of holding the people back as though they're bad in some way. Here's Middle America getting together, and we all feel the same way.